Now, what's quite interesting about this sentence, serrated nor'wester sea breezes caress rambling sea lion kumquat excursion.
They're all in different colours.
One individual introduced all these words into the English language.
John Masefield.
No, it was earlier than that.
Nicholas Parsons.
Cook. James Cook.
Not James Cook. Funnily enough, he was the first Englishman to set foot in Australia. He was a hero to many, many people and spoke many languages. He was the first man ever to work out the importance of wind over currents and publish wind maps. Cook used him.
Oh, we all feel we're thick as hell.
No,
Let's hear the name of the bloke.
I have to confess it was a vague name to me. I knew nothing about him before. William Dampier, his name was.
I was going to say Dampier. I've got two first edition of Dampier's Voyages. And there he is. 1701. But I didn't think he went there.
You did?
Have you read these books, then?
Yeah. And there's no mention of Australia.
For about 100 years, almost every voyager carried a copy of his voyages around with them. A New Voyage Around the World was his huge bestseller.
So why isn't he famous? Like
he should
Cook?
be,
Yeah.
because there's a subsequent question which you might now get. How did he influence two of the most famous books in English?
Robinson Crusoe?
Robinson Crusoe
But
was
no,
one.
that wasn't him. That was Alexander.
It was Alexander Selkirk. But one other book, Peter Rabbit, Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah. Gulliver's Travels is a sort of fantasy version of his...
That's right. It's a kind of parody-stroke fantasy version, and he mentions Dampier in the preface, and he bases the Yahoos on Dampier's descriptions of the Aboriginals of Australia.
But was he stranded on an island?
No. The voyage on which Alexander Selkirk was the first mate was organised by Dampier, and he was on board as well. And there was a captain who had a furious rows with the young 27-year-old Alexander Selkirk, a Scot. And he tried to go around the Horn of South America. And the fourth time, they arrived on this Masa Tierra, this little island 400 miles off the west coast of Chile. And Alexander Selkirk said, you can get me off here. I don't want to sail any more with you as captain. And he took his, mattress and some books and some equipment and then on the beach, and then the ship prepared to go. And he thought, I've changed my mind. And Stradling, the captain, said, tough, and
So
went off.
it wasn't a wreck, it was just a...
Left him for 4.5 years on his own there. And then another ship came, the Duke.
And it had Sue Lawley on board.
But the pilot of the other ship that came up was William Dampier, who picked him up and rescued him. And on the way back, they took charge of a Spanish ship, laden Spanish ship, all due to Selkirk's superior seamanship. And he went on to the ship that they captured and sailed it back, made a fortune from the prize money. But what happened to him? He couldn't readjust to society after being Robinson Crusoe, as it were. And he went to live in a cave in Scotland for 15 years. And then Defoe wrote the book Robinson Crusoe, and he became a huge celebrity. People came to visit him in his cave, and he got very annoyed. So he joined the Navy, and off the coast of Africa, drank infected water and died.
Dampier wasn't well liked either because he was a privateer. And also, another person on one of his ships was John Silver, who was a peg-leg. And he was just an ordinary seaman, but he was there. Israel Hands was real. He was shot in the leg by Blackbeard.
Oh, really?
Blackbeard put his gun under the table and shot Israel Hands in the leg and said, now, don't forget who's boss.
Edward Teach, was it not his name?
Teach,
Blackbeard.
yes.
I know that there's a bloke in Moby Dick called Starbuck who liked coffee.
Yeah, indeed.
And his best friend was Costa.
I think I know that because you told me.
Yeah, well, it's good to know. There's an extraordinary academic book called Sodomy and the Pirate Tradition. Do you know that book?
Yeah.
I've got that book.
Tom Baker came up to me and said, Jim, I think you might find this interesting.
Fine book, and I recommend it.
Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe to the QI channel and click here to watch more videos.